so much better than a woman. Not bipolar, doesn't play games, doesn't go back and forth between you and another man, doesn't trip and fall on another man's, doesn't blame you for everything. Oh, it's so good. Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't see you guys there. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed. I don't always talk to my beer. I'm embarrassed. Welcome to episode 21. Brian with an I is sick with COVID. Tested positive for COVID, positive for being a little bitch. It'll be about 2 weeks, I guess, before I get to see him. So I didn't want to wait 2 more weeks to film another episode because that would have ended up being like a month between episodes. I'm going to film something here at my computer desk at my house. I usually do it at his house, but I have no idea what today's episode is going to be about. I just wanted to do random stuff. It was supposed to be about all the better returning local players we're going to do this episode on, but I don't want to do that until Brian can be here. We'll do random stuff. I'll talk about random stuff. I was watching I saved a lot of clippings from the newspapers from my senior year when I played. I was looking through those earlier, and it kind of, as a Coyote fan, I mean, most of you know my story already. I played for Alice. I'm going to favor them sometimes on the page, but I'm still going to show up to everybody's teams. It's just, as a Coyote fan, that kind of breaks your heart. That they have one district. I was realizing when I was looking through all these articles that they have one district championship since 1985. And that was 14 years ago in 2008. You know, you're my age. I'm 48. You grew up watching legendary Coyote teams, man. Even before I was born, there was legendary Coyote teams. Legendary players like Henry Villarreal, Duke Berry, Pete Vargas. These are guys that played before I was able to be old enough to watch. Then we have the ones when I got to grow up watching the legendary teams, the Chris Sosas, the Robert Sosas, the Felix Garcias, the John Hunters. John Hunter's going to watch this. Let me throw his name in there. That's the 85 team is the one John Hunter was on. He's going to get excited when I mention his name, but that's the last. Other than the 2008 team, that's the last district championship team Alice had. That's not the last great team they had, I don't think, in my opinion, but it's the last district championship they had other than the 2008 one. I don't know what happened in Alice. You know, in fairness to the kids that are there right now, they didn't get to grow up watching any of the legendary eras in Alice Cody football because they're 16, 17, 18 years old. So when Alice last won a district championship in 2008, which to me that's the last great team Alice had, 2008, these kids were like 2 or 3 years old. Like, they didn't even get to watch that team. They didn't even get to enjoy that team. Like, they didn't get to grow up watching any of the teams we got to grow up watching that motivated us to keep the tradition going on. I don't know what needs to happen in Alice, man. This whole video ain't gonna be on Alice. But that's what I'm starting off on because that's what I was. I was reminiscing right now, looking at old articles and watching old videos on YouTube. Alice was already gonna have a really good. I think this is gonna be, and I want to talk about it too because I think Alice is gonna have a special season this year. I already thought they were gonna have a special season before they got the quarterback move in and the receiver move in. Cutter Stewart and Hector Gatza III from San Diego, Cutter Stewart from Orange Grove. Last year's Alice team was really, really young, so it was an up and down thing. You know, they should have beaten Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial in that first game, lost by 2 points, and then they turn around and go 3-7. So it's just, when you're young and you don't have player leadership, that's my opinion. As a fan, you want to blame coaches for everything, and I kind of used to do that. You can't put it on the coach, man. It's sometimes there's just no player leadership. And you can see it as fans, and you can see it as someone like me that's on sidelines a lot. You can see what teams have players that are good leaders, and some teams they're just players are just there, and whatever the coach tells you to do, you do it. But you don't take initiative on your own, you're never going to take that next step. I mean, that's for anybody. That's not just Alice. I'm talking about Alice, but that's for anybody, man. It's just around here. There's no. I don't see a lot of player leadership around here, man. And it says no matter who your coach is, your coach can be Nick Saban. If you don't have player leadership, the ceiling's only so high. What did Michael Jordan say? The ceiling is the roof. You're no LeBron, dude. Oh, fuck it. I said this was going to be on random stuff, so I'll do that too, man. I argue, a lot of you see me on using the South Texas Bloodsport page to argue with people about the Jordan versus LeBron debate. My whole thing on that is I'm not a Jordan hater. I love Jordan growing up. At my dad's house in San Antonio, I have a paper mache of Michael Jordan doing some finger roll shit that made a 9th grade art class. I love Jordan growing up, man. But then social media became popular, and you started realizing how ridiculous his fan base is. And not just his fan base, but anyone whose favorite player was like around the... They just stopped rewriting history, man. The 90s were weak. They just were. And you need to accept it. The 90s were weak and watered down with 6 expansion teams. They added 6 expansion teams to the NBA after the 1988 season, and it watered the NBA down. That's why there was no super teams in the 90s. Except for Jordan's super team. But back then, you didn't call it a super team until LeBron went to Miami. All of a sudden, they gave it this super team name because it's what it is, dude. The Jordan fanboys are... You know LeBron's better, so you got to do things and say things and bring him down all the time. Jordan's Bulls, that second three-peat run, they had 4 Hall of Famers. Playing against teams in the playoffs and the finals, they had one Hall of Famer, 2 at most, where the Jazz had 2. That was it. Everyone else had 1. The best team Jordan ever faced in the finals, the Supersonics, 1 Hall of Famer. Jordan's Bulls, 4 Hall of Famers. Nobody says Jordan's titles don't count because he had all this help and the teams he played only had this help. Nobody even called it super teams until LeBron went to Miami, which wasn't even a super team. Nobody knew who the fuck Chris Bosh was until he played with LeBron. And after LeBron left, everyone went back to not knowing who the fuck Chris Bosh was. You had guys like Udonis Haslem and Mario Chalmers in the starting lineup. That's not a super team. As soon as LeBron left, they couldn't even make the playoffs. They went from 4 straight NBA Finals appearances to not even making the playoffs. They still had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and everybody else. They actually added some good free agents when LeBron left and freed up all that money, and they couldn't even make the playoffs without LeBron. You know, he left Cleveland. They went from the best record in the NBA to the worst record in the NBA. Went back to Cleveland, one of the best records in the NBA. What did he go? 4 more straight finals with Cleveland. He leaves. They go to the worst record in the NBA. He goes to LA, wins another title. Jordan couldn't have done that, man. You all hold LeBron's finals losses against him. That's LeBron went to the finals at age 22. Played against one of the all-time great Spurs teams. All-time great teams, period. There was a Spurs team. At age 22, he led a team of tomato cans to the finals against an all-time great team, and you want to hold losses like that against him. The finals lost to the Mavericks, and you try and act like he lost to a nobody. The Mavericks had 2 Hall of Famers surrounded by a bunch of badass role players. You had Hall of Famers, Jason Kidd and Dirk Nowitzki. Tyson Chandler was Defensive Player of the Year. Jason Terry, Sean Marion. You all are crazy to act like that was like a bad... That same Mavericks team that year swept Kobe Bryant and the Lakers out of the playoffs. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, who were going for a 3-peat, they swept that Kobe Bryant team out of the playoffs. This idea that LeBron lost to... The worst team LeBron ever played in the finals would beat the best team Jordan ever played in the finals. That's just facts. Facts. I hope the comment section blows up. I want to argue with you people about this stuff. I told you this episode was going to be all over the place, man. I don't want to do... episode 22, the next episode will be more about... the returning star players that are coming back from each team, the better players from the area coming back, the better matchups. That's another thing I want to do: is the better matchups of the first round of the first week of the season. I guess in 2 weeks when we get to film this episode, it will be a little closer to August, and it'll make a little more. It'll be a little more interesting to start doing stuff like that. Actually, maybe we'll do interesting scrimmage matchups. Scrimmages don't mean shit, but something to talk about, something to get excited about. If you're a high school football fan, it excites you regardless if it means anything or not. Yeah, but back to the Jordan thing. It's just players evolve. Players get better. Players get bigger, faster, stronger, more skilled, better coach. I mean, it's just you got to accept it, and everyone does accept it in every single sport except basketball. In every sport, everyone acknowledges players are bigger, faster, stronger, better, except in this one sport with this one meathead fan base that has created this narrative that basketball stopped evolving in 1998 when Jordan retired, and then again in 2002, whatever year he retired again. I mean, at some point you got to realize how ridiculous that looks, man. Every sport evolves except basketball, and then when Jordan retired, it just conveniently it started devolving. And players that they don't play defense anymore. Then stop it, man. These cherry pick videos you all post from the 80s, and to begin with, those cherry pick videos are from the 80s. They're not even from the 90s. They're from the 80s when Jordan couldn't win shit. They're cherry-picked hard foul videos. Those hard fouls were still called fouls back then. For those of you that are too young to know and only see my generation rewriting history, it's embarrassing, man. My generation, when you all do that history rewriting stuff, it's embarrassing. Those hard fouls that you all post cherry-picked videos of, they were called fouls. And you can get away with it back then because you weren't fined millions of dollars. You didn't have to worry about being suspended for an entire season and losing $30-40 million for that season that you were going to get paid. You got to worry about that stuff in modern basketball. That's why you don't see it anymore. And it's not basketball to begin with. Clotheslining someone that's going up for a layup is not basketball. It makes you look good when you're in an argument or debate, but to post videos like that. But that's not basketball. It's not. And as far as today's big man versus big men in the 90s, it was just a different game in the 90s. That's why that was the lowest scoring decade ever. The 90s were the lowest scoring decade ever, for those of you who don't know in basketball. The 80s, for all the, back in my day, we played defense. The 80s were the highest scoring decade ever. The 90s went down. It was slow because it changed to a center league where you ran out the clock, the last few seconds of the shot clock, you fed the center, and he posted someone up. Great for that, but that's... The fact that that's not in today's game doesn't make it a worse game. It's a better game. Today's big men run the court with athleticism like guards, man. It's crazy that you all think that makes the game worse. You can't hand check in today's game. So, how's that going to stop anyone from stopping LeBron, too? In Jordan's era, you couldn't play zone defense. You know, you got stuck on someone, man. You're screwed. If you're gonna get beat, you're gonna get beat, man. You couldn't play. It works both ways. You couldn't play zone defense in Jordan era. So if they could have, it would have been harder for him to go to the basket. All these arguments work both ways, man. Y'all need to learn just to enjoy greatness, man. I've seen friends hate on Kobe for 20 years. Just because he was a threat to the Jordan legacy, hating LeBron for 20 years, he's a threat to the Jordan legacy. Like, you aren't allowing yourself to enjoy great players because they're threats to the Jordan. It isn't even threats anymore. It's not even just LeBron for me. To me, Kobe's better than Jordan. Tim Duncan's better than Jordan. LeBron's better than Jordan. Like, so many players have come along since Jordan that to me they're better than him. Jordan is the luckiest player of all time, dude. If you look at that, even the documentary he made. When LeBron was won another title with the Lakers, and he wanted to steal his thunder. He doesn't realize his own documentary makes you realize how he was shook when Scottie Pippen wasn't playing, man. When Scottie Pippen had that holdout and the injuries, the Bulls were horrible. They were horrible. But what happened when Jordan retired to go play baseball? They won 57 games with Jordan. He retired to play baseball, and Scottie Pippen still won 55 games with him. They didn't win the title. But they still only had a 2-game drop. Now flip that and imagine if Scottie Pippen would have been the one to retire. Jordan would not have only lost 2 less games, man. Scottie Pippen was the best player, all-around player on that team. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck, man. All this Jordan crap, it's annoying. Scottie Pippen was the best all-around player on that team. Was Jordan a better scorer? Yeah, because he fucking ball hogged and shot the ball 30 times a game. You know, one of the arguments I hear is, what did Scottie Pippen do without Jordan? Scottie Pippen won playoff series without Jordan. Jordan didn't win shit without Scottie Pippen. It doesn't happen, man. Anyway. I'm just trying to piss people off today, man. I tell you, this is going to be a random show. Best running back ever, Emmitt Smith. I don't want to hear the Barry Sanders bullshit. Having the greatest juke move ever doesn't make you the best running back ever. Barry Sanders has the greatest juke move ever. The argument that he would have played for Dallas, he would have ran for more yards. Yeah, but Dallas wouldn't have won 3 Super Bowls with that dude as the running back because he never even talked. One of Emmitt Smith's qualities was his intangibles, his leadership. Barry Sanders never even talked, man. He was mute. He was deaf, mute. I don't know what he was, but he never talked, man. He's a horrible leader. And he actually Detroit wasn't horrible when he was there either, like people try to make it seem, the Cowboy haters. I think they made the playoffs. He played 8 years. They made the playoffs 6 of the 8 years he was there. When have you ever heard of Detroit making the playoffs 6 out of 8 years? There wasn't a horrible Detroit team, man, and it was a horrible division he played in that during the Barry Sanders era. It wasn't until towards the end of his career that Green Bay became good, but it was a horrible division. You can make the argument, take Emmitt Smith off the Cowboys, put him on Detroit, and yeah, he's not winning Super Bowls, but he's playing against much weaker divisions. Emmitt Smith was in a division where 3 of the 4 teams won Super Bowls all within like a 4 or 5 year period. The Giants won it in 90, the Redskins won it in 91, Cowboys won it in 92, 94, 92, 93, 95. It was a better division, man. Emmitt Smith's the GOAT. Barry Sanders can suck it. Anyway, back to I didn't mean to go off on all the basketball stuff, man, but fuck it. Back to football, high school football. I mean, the last state champion around here, not named Refugio, was Ray in 1961. And then Donna won it in 1962. Miller won it in 1960. Ray won in 61. Donna won in 62 or 63. Nobody this far south has won a state title since, man. I mean, I don't get how the rest... I don't get it. There's teams around here that are talented. Miller has a lot of talent. Calallen comes close. I don't know if Calallen... I don't want to say... Well, I will say Calallen seems... Maybe they'll prove me wrong this year, but they were in a downslide. Their last couple of years have been their worst years in a while, and that's because they dropped the classification, and they still had worse years. They got the coaching change. Yeah, Dan Hurd's the winningest coach of all time, but maybe the coaching change will reinvigorate the program. I don't know how that's going to work. You did get a lot of transfers, and, that number one recruiting tool ain't walking your sidelines anymore to attract kids over there. So we'll have to see how that goes with you guys. Miller's loaded with talent, but they still don't play defense. I've said this in multiple shows. I'll say it again. You have to have a different mentality when you're playing defense. It's not just about talent on defense. You can get away with being talented on offense. It's not going to be that way on defense, man. You have to like contact. You have to welcome contact. You have to want contact. You don't see that from that team. Even they do have some big guys. The couple of years on their defensive line, that's for sure. But that's not where they get burned. I mean that. Your linebackers and your secondary have to want contact, man, and they have to be in the right places. They can't be giving up big plays all the time, bombs. You get a lot of bombs yourself on offense, but you also give up a lot of those big plays. Veterans Memorial, they don't bring back a lot, man. Veterans Memorial, I think, brings back 2 on offense and 5 on defense. You lost Cameron De La Peña, who he actually took a step backwards last year when he didn't have center fit throwing in the ball anymore. I don't know what's going to happen with that program this year. And I've seen them a couple of times on 7-on-7. They're still good. They still have good talent there. But it's hard to get a feel for someone on 7-on-7. Other than you can tell if they're going to have skill talent, and they do have skill talent still. Rockport's another team that's ranked really high, and they don't really bring back a lot, so I don't know what to think about them. Their quarterback's really good, obviously, but they run slot T. They throw a lot out of it, though, for a slot T team, and it's kind of, I think they're the ones that run the hybrid where they have this quarterback in the pistol formation. It's not a typical slot T. Refuyo's going to be Refuyo. They don't return a lot, but it's Refuyo. Shiner is in their district now, so that's going to be a good matchup. Shiner, I don't think Shiner returned a lot this year either. It's another good match. I don't really want to get into matchups yet. There was going to be the next episode. We'll do that. But I still want to talk about high school football, though. I'm not going to just keep talking about the NBA. Fuck the NBA. Basketball sucks. But It doesn't suck, but it's football season now, so. Alice returns a lot of skill talent, but I don't know anything about their offensive line. They didn't have a great running game last year. You put that on the offensive line, I guess, but they did have one really good offensive lineman that is playing at the next level, Mendoza. So they did have some good offensive linemen. It just didn't have a great running game. I don't know what they bring back this year. They lost Mendoza. He was the one really. He was a better lineman last year. Like I said, he's playing at the next level this year. He's not going to be there though. So I don't know what Alice brings back on the offensive line to. I'll build them up because they're my alma mater, and I'm always going to love that program. But all the skill talent in the world doesn't mean shit if you don't have a line. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of line they have. But Alice, man, if any of you parents, kids watching, the kids that watch, man, I hope you all need to get with your parents and ask them about the Coyote legends and the Coyote tradition, man, because you all need to find a way to get that back, man. It's been too long gone. It's just one district championship in the last 35, 36, 37 years. That's crazy, man, for an Alice program, man. I was going to say that town deserves better, but does it? I don't know, man. You all don't support the way you used to. You all don't pack those stadiums anymore like you used to. The last time that stadium was packed was 2016. When Alice played Ray, they were both going in 4-0. The stadium was packed, man. That's the last time I remember that stadium being packed. This doesn't happen anymore. It's good when you play a third-round playoff game in the Alamo Dome because I don't know, there's a lot of ex-Alice residents living in San Antonio now, but that Alamo Dome, you bring more people to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio than you do your home games. So I don't know what's up with that, but you don't really see that with any other teams. That's crazy. That's weird. That's a weird stat. Some of the smaller teams that I like, the surprise teams for me is going to be someone like Goliad. Goliad returns a lot of kids, man. I think Goliad returns like 7 on offense and 9 on defense. I think they're going to be a surprise team from the lower levels. Ganado, I think, is going to be another surprise team. Not really totally around here, but they're in the local district with Refugio and Three Rivers. I think they return like 9. Ganado returns a lot, man. 9 on offense, 9 on defense. They got blown out last year by Shiner and Refugio, but Refugio and Shiner don't bring back much either, and Ganado brings back, like I said, 18 starters, man. 9 on offense, 9 on defense. That's crazy. Take it from someone that didn't start varsity the senior year. There's nothing better than experience, man. I wish I would have had that extra experience. I wish I would have started as a junior on varsity. It would have made a big difference. It's just my own personal beliefs. So to me, when you have 18 starters coming back, like that's a big deal to me, man. And especially if we were third-round playoff teams, I think Ganado's going to be a really good surprise team this year. Ganado, Goliad. Benbolt's another program I think is going to be a surprise team. They bring back a bunch also. I think 8 on offense, 9 on defense. Dave Campbell did them dirty, man, having 4th in the district, but they bring back, like I said, man, there's nothing is better than experience. You still have to have the talent, obviously. You can't be 17 starters coming back from a horrible team, but they weren't a horrible team. I think Benbolt's going to be another surprise team. Farfuria's going to be another surprise team. They bring back 8 on offense, 7 on defense. They haven't won a lot the last 2 years, but they got the new coach that was, cleaning up the program. I think this is the year they finally pulled through. They're definitely going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think they're going to be a surprise team this year and win a lot more games than people expect. Goliad, Benbolt, Farfurias, they're all surprise teams for me this year from the smaller area. As far as the bigger area, obviously Alice went 3-7, so right off the bat they're going to be a 3 or 4 round playoff team at the least this year, so they're going to be a surprise team. I wouldn't call it a surprise. It's hard for me to be taken seriously on the Alice stuff because y'all are going to be in a homer, which I am. Suck it. But I already told you what I think about Alice in the last episode, man. It just all depends on their offensive line. Even that's hard to say they're going to be a surprise team because I don't know anything about the offensive line. If they put a line together, man, they're just... Like I said earlier, it's going to be a special season for Alice if they can put a line together. Ingleside's another team I think could be a surprise team. They return a lot. I think 7 on offense, 6 on defense. McHugh left Taft and he's going back to Ingleside where he played his ball. So, sometimes little things like that, especially in small programs, it provides a nice boost. I can't imagine that dude wants to coach anywhere other than the program he played for, so I can imagine the kind of energy he's going to have being there, the influence he's going to have to make that program even better. So Ingleside's another program I see being a surprise team. I'm not getting too into everybody. Like I said, I want to talk about all the returning players, but I would save that for the next episode when my friend's back. Sinton's another one, man. You don't know what to expect. They're sitting to Sinton, and the program's back to being in the shape you expect Sinton to be in all the time. Now that Troutman's there, but they lost a lot of kids and they don't bring back much. I don't know what to expect from Sinton. Bishop's another one that has a potential to be a surprise team. They bring back 7 on offense, 10 on defense, but they had that incident where they got rid of their head coach. I don't know why. It'll be a broken record, man, but I don't know what the fuck Bishop was thinking getting rid of that coach. I mean, you don't like coaches that scream at kids. You shouldn't even have a program. They make it all about him, this and that, and the stories you hear about it. I don't know, man, but he had teams nationally ranked before he went to Bishop, so I don't know why you want to get rid of a coach like that, especially when you're in a situation where you're bringing everybody back the next year. Sinton brings a lot back, man. 7 on offense, 10 on defense, but they lost a coach. So I still think they're going to be a surprise team, man. I think they're the ones who got the coach from... Did they get the defensive coordinator from Carroll? You never know how someone's going to do when it's their first head coaching job ever, so you don't know what to expect. But they do bring back a lot of talent, man, a lot of kids. So I have to see from Bishop. But in the bigger classes, I already went off Annalis, but Cal Allen, I don't know what to speak. A new coach, maybe, like I said earlier, reinvigorated, but Cal Allen, you don't know what to expect. A new coach, I expect he's going to run the exact same thing they're running for the last 40 years. I mean, some people think they're all of a sudden going to change, but you got a new coach, but it's a coach that was there for the entire Danaher era. I don't see him changing anything. You could pass more. You don't really need to change the offense you run. If it works, it works. My criticism of it always has been, why can't you pass more? Why can't you... Don't wait until you need to do it against Alito in the state championship game. Like, do it throughout the season. Practice it. The Beeville district with Calhoun and Rock, that's going to be an interesting district, man. They have Calhoun pick 3rd. I know that a lot of their fans are I don't see that happening. Calhoun doesn't bring back shit, but they run that triple option, man, that we can go on and on about. It's it's hard to stop, man, unless you have really great linebackers and you have a really great defensive coordinator. Or just way better talent, but around here there's not talent that's so much better than Calhoun that they're going to beat it just based on talent alone. They're going to win a lot of games they shouldn't win because of that triple option. I don't see them finishing 3rd, despite they don't bring back much. But neither does Rockport, and they have Rockport pick 1st in district and I think like something like 14th in state. I don't see that. Too early to tell, man. I don't see something like that happening, but the local 5A district, GP and Flower Bluff got stuck with all them Valley teams. It's going to be 1 and 2 for them, or which order, which one gets first, which one gets second, who knows? But it's just they're not losing to any of the particular Valley teams they got stuck in a district with. I mean, I know everyone's excited because they're back. You know, their program's definitely back. Brent Davis is a hell of a coach, man. But it's nice that your program's back and took that next step. They're not making the 5th round. I'll tell you that right now, like my friend says, but. My opinion, but it wouldn't surprise me if either them or Flower Bluff made it to the 4th, 5th round. Flower Bluff made it to the 5th round this last year, but it's not going to be the cakewalk people are trying to act like it is. 5A D1, that's a different story, man. It's just you got the Corpus programs with the 2 Victorias. You know, we already went over Miller. It's hard to. I know in my last episode I said they want to make the playoffs, but I just trying to get fans commenting, man. I just that I don't see them. You got to contend with the 2 Victorias, the talent they have in the secondary as far as all the bombing you like to throw. Vets always has good secondary. You know, I honestly don't see you missing the playoffs like I predicted in my last episode, but I don't see it being a cakewalk just because you bring back I think they bring back, 9 on offense, 8 on defense. But y'all claim y'all bring back that much every year. So at some point, you just got to stop, man. You got to stop and just be honest with Dave Campbell's, man. I know you want to pump up your team, but you don't bring back 16, 17 starters every single year. Every team has a lull where they bring back 4 or 5, 7, 8, even 7 starters, something. But you're not bringing back 15, 16, 17, 18 starters every season. So I don't know what to think about that. It's... You know, it says they bring back that much on the Dave Campbell's, but I don't know, man. And even if it is, it's a lot of kids from a team that doesn't play defense. I'm not trying to pile on, but it is what it is, man. You don't play defense there. I was looking at the year Evans and Coach John, the defensive coordinator, were at Dallas, and They only gave up 170 points that season. That's 17 points a game. So you got a good defensive coordinator, man. It's just you can't blame that dude. It's just you. It's the kids' mentality is what needs to change. If it doesn't change, it's gonna be back to giving up 40, 50 points a game again in the big games. But yeah, the vets, like I said earlier, they don't bring back much. So I don't know what to expect from them, man. They got the dual threat quarterback, but that's it, man. They bring back only 2 on offense and 5 on defense. It's not. You're not going to be like those vets programs that go 4 or 5 rounds deep. I don't see it. It's just this all changes once we start seeing scrimmages and first, second, third games. Maybe they'll be the best team they've ever had at vets. I don't see that right now. I think the open enrollment closing is starting to take its effect on the program. You had a team a few years ago, I remember seeing, man, you had like 75, 80 kids on the sidelines, and then this last year you only had about 60. To me, that's the open enrollment being closed. You don't have the open enrollment anymore. It's going to start evening things out, man. I know y'all got high on your program because of those couple of years, but everything evens out, man, especially now with the new Carroll opening up. The Victorias, I don't know what the fuck to expect from them, man. They're all over the place every single season. They'll beat a really good team and lose a really bad team. They're just inconsistent, and I think that I'm not going to pretend I know the mindset of their players. That's not a program I'm around a lot but you see 30, 35 kids on their sidelines, and that's it. And for programs that have bordering around the 2,000 enrollment, that's crazy, man. Victoria had great programs, man, when I was young. Victoria High, Victoria Stroman, always loaded with talent. But walking their sidelines for a couple of the games. Actually, I did do their vets game this last year. I think they had about 33, 34 kids on the sidelines of Victoria West, and Victoria East, and then see them against Alice also. They just don't have a lot of their participation numbers there are really, really low, man. If they can ever find a coach to get those numbers up, and the talent's there, man. There's nobody south of San Antonio with more talent than the Victoria programs, but their participation numbers are really, really low. I don't know, man. I mean, that's 5A, 6A. We don't have any 6A programs around here. We'll do Valley. Maybe next week I'll do a Valley episode. I don't know. It's going to be about 2 weeks before I get to go to my friend's house again. I don't want to wait 2 more weeks to do another episode. I want to start putting these out every week. Next week, maybe I'll do a Valley episode. Or I'll make a post and y'all can do recommendations on what you want to see a show about or what you want to talk about. Or any of you want to be on this with me. We can meet somewhere and do this. Doesn't have to be with a professional camera. It can be with my phone. We can do it somewhere in public. We can go to a restaurant, man, drink a beer and film ourselves talking sports. I'm still waiting on one of y'all to take the challenge up, man. It's all good, man. I know sometimes I'm an asshole on the page, but it's all in good fun, dude. I'm not a piece of shit in real life. I mean, it's all in good fun, man. I'll argue with you guys on the page. I'll argue with the Caroline fans and Miller fans, but I'm still gonna promote the shit out of your teams when you're playing programs from other areas. And in the playoffs, or throughout the season, no matter who you're playing, man. If you're winning, you're winning. I'm going to promote you. I'm going to make you look good if you're making yourselves look good, regardless if I'm fighting with some of your fans or not. It's all good. But I don't want this episode to go on too much longer because I'm just rambling on nonsense. But I want to do this every week. I want to put something out every single week. What's today? Monday. I'm filming this Monday, and it's still early, so I'll mess with it tonight, and I'll put it out by tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll put it out tomorrow, and I'll try and do every episode from now on Tuesdays. Film them on Mondays and put them out by Tuesdays. So there's a consistency, so y'all know when the episode's coming out. You know what to expect, when to expect it. My friend should be back in 2 weeks. I'll be doing another episode next week. I'll do it on whatever I'll post something on the page within the next few days, and y'all give me ideas what y'all want to hear about or comments you all want. We'll do an episode on nothing but your all's comments. You all want something said about your program, your team, your players. I'll say whatever, man. I don't care. But thank you for watching this episode, and I will be back. I'll put this out by Tuesday, and then I'll be back again next week on Tuesday. Man, the last thing I'll say is, man, y'all as parents and fans, and get involved, man. Get involved with your program. Start showing up to the games more. The kids deserve better than these half-empty stadiums. A lot of cases more than half-empty stadiums, man. Completely empty stadiums. it's something fun to watch. It's something something fun to do on Friday nights. Goes down in the stands with popcorn and Coke. Watch these kids that work their asses off all year, their whole lives, ever since 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Give them support. Give them more support, man. And it's not fun playing to empty stadiums as a player, man. Even if your program's not great and it's frustrating, it's still they're going to be worse if there's like nobody for them to play to in the stands, man. So start showing up to the games this year. You can still support the streaming stuff. You can still support that and watch it, but watch it after the game. Watch the rerun after the game. During the game, go to the live game, man. Start supporting the programs again. Start showing up to the games. I miss going to these games where the stands are full, man. It'd be cool to see that again. But start showing up to the games, man. Anyway, thank you guys for following the page. Share the episode. Invite your friends to follow the page. The more the merrier for your program that you have represented on the page when the season starts. So thank you guys for following the page.